Hey everyone, this is Chad, or Rhubarbarian, as I'm known in the chats. This is Kaspa Accepted Here, a new program that we're launching featuring Kaspa merchants around the globe. And we're here with Wolf from Wolfie's Bar, and we're excited to talk to Wolfie. Now, Wolfie's got not only an amazing space, but he's creating a really cool ecosystem using Kaspa and good buds with the Rock the Kaspa boys. So lots to talk about, but thanks for being on the show, Wolf. And why don't you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll talk about your business.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Wolf. I own Wolfie's Bar with my wife, Marika. And we own a few things. So we also own a hair and beauty salon called the Blue Maga Salon. And my history in crypto is quite diverse, because I actually built Wolfie's from my cryptocurrency profits I made in 2019. I took a £13,000 British pound investment and made it 300,000, and that's what I used to build the space, or half of the space worth.
Nice.
And then as you said, we're trying to do quite a bit, but the reason why we're doing this bit is because of the history, because of us starting in crypto and building this space because of crypto. And over the years, we've done a couple of things. So one, we've always accepted Bitcoin. And then as things progressed, we've also transitioned to accepting cash, not only in context of this business, but also the one next door, the hair and beauty salon. So we accept cash in both. And Bitcoin. And we also are even further down the rabbit hole of crypto, because we also own an NFT. And our NFT is connected to our real life business in multiple ways. Not only do you get a free coffee if you have the NFT every day, but you also get discounts like between 10 and 30% depending on how many NFTs you own. And you also receive merchandise, so like the t-shirt and the hat and the hoodie and things that I have on. So we've built all of that within our ecosystem. We're also using the funds obtained from our NFT to expand Wolfie's Bar across not only the UK, but in other jurisdictions also. So yeah, very, very rich history. In context of myself, I've been in business for about 20 years now. Our oldest business is 20 years old, which is the hair and beauty salon. We've got a multiple amount of businesses, some of them in short lettings, some of them in mentorship, which I've built over the last 20 years. I've also worked in finance for the last 20 years, in banking. So investment banks, you name it, I've been in all of them over the years. And and then from my accent, you can probably hear I'm from South Africa originally, because I tried to lose it, but I haven't managed to do that. But I think that's a quick synopsis of me.
That's great. Sounds like you're deep into it, and congratulations on using crypto as the launching pad for business, and congratulations on 20 years. I'm entering my 20th year in my business as well, so we can celebrate together. It's not an easy thing to be an entrepreneur and to carry on that far, but really excited to meet other successful entrepreneurs, especially in the blockchain space. So so you accept CAS? We heard that. What was the initial reason? Why did you choose to accept Kaspa?
Well, the original reason is because Chris and Wolfie showed up and drank a lot of beer with me, and that convinced me to do that.
Okay.
Like Chris from CAS, Chris, who's the CAS ambassador, reached out to me and said, "Yeah, Wolf, we want to come have some beers with you." And I explained, "Well, you can have some beers with me and Viking Horns if you're up to it." And he said, "Okay, cool." So they came across, Chris, Wolfie, and Tom, his brother. And we had quite a few beers, and we started talking about all manner of things I've mentioned now, about what's happening in society, how we're collapsing in that context, what's the results for it. And then we talked about crypto and its technology, and they started explaining to me how cash solves the trilemma and the speed of it and the cost of it. And we went a bit in depth in how the Bitcoin transactions work, speed-wise, cost-wise, the issues that I've had with them over the past and not. And cash was just an extremely easy solution, and also very, very applicable to resolving this issue. And it's very easy. I mean, you open up a Caspian wallet, people come in, you put in the amount, and they pay with it. And because my organization is structured in a way where I try to implement technology into context of all my integration, I try to get rid of all paper. So then, after the discussion, that's how I decided to take on CAS, accept CAS. And from that day on, we've been taking payments in CAS. I've also switched my NFT from Solana to CAS. So like a portion of my NFT 2024 of them is on Solana, and then 7,976 of them are on CAS, on KRS-721. Because as it's progressed and I started participating, so I became a host on Blockchain Banter with vending. In that process, I've been very embedded into the community, and we've done the CAS birthday year, and we do the get-togethers here and all of those things. So in essence, that's why we accept CAS and WOLFY'S, and we've spoken a bit about it in the past on DMs. But one of the things that I truly want to do in the future is I want to, start giving people discounts, excessive discount, if they use CAS as payment. So you see if I can adopt more people into the ecosystem and get people to understand what it is. And then in the future, as we expand, specifically with the NFT program and the wider businesses, if we have enough of these things, I really want to open up venues that only accept CAS, where I have a full-time employee that onboards people, so they can become a destination, but also becomes a place where you can onboard people.
That sounds great. I mean, it'd be the CAS bar.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Rock the CAS bar. Yes. Yeah. Well, that's great. It's very interesting as I talk to people. Like when we started with Kaspa, we launched the brand, and we started very early getting merchants to accept Kaspa. I mean, so early that we were getting trolled and hammered. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's not even who's going to use it? And I was like, it's got to start somewhere. So we started seeing that back in late 2022. I mean, there was like 3 or 4 merchants that were accepting it. And I just knew that it's not just about accepting the coin. The coin works, the currency works as a currency. Utility is there. And so when people say, what's the utility? It's like, it's a coin. Yeah. Bitcoin's a coin. It's done its job. And the only thing is adoption. So let's start using it. And slowly picked up. And now we got merchants around the world like yourselves on different countries. Some of them like you and others are starting to think about a 360 economy. So, paying suppliers in Kaspa, getting them to accept Kaspa, on and on. And I think you nailed it. Like there's a big difference in the communities. The ethos of Kaspa is very much like what you said. You might get a crowd in with another project, and in 15 minutes, it's like, okay, we're done. Like but 2 hours later, you're still, you're on your third drink with Chris and Tom. So I just love that, and that really does. It's a shout out to the community and to that ethos, the story that was embedded, really from the core team, the developers, Jonathan and others. There's a genuineness and a humility that is it's woven throughout the community, and I see that in the merchants, and that's why I wanted to get you guys on this show and start highlighting and amplifying the fact that it's not just about accepting a really fast, secure, decentralized currency. It's about building an ecosystem, and like you said, it's about changing lives. Entrepreneurship it's not about rockets and Lambos to the moon and preserving yourself. It's about the common good. And I do see that in Kaspa. I see there's an entire economy that's yet to be touched through enterprise market adoption. And for me, way back in 2022, I was like, we're gonna start with merchants because that's the easiest thing. But what's coming with smart contracts? It's gonna revolutionize even what you're doing. Applications and smart contracts, and different things for finance, handling your books, and all these things will come, and it's gonna be a beautiful thing. So What have your, so you mentioned you're an onboarder, so people come in, they're like, what's Kaspa? Like they see the Bitcoin logo. And I say this to merchants, I say, even if you don't accept Bitcoin, start accepting Bitcoin because that's what people know. And hardly anyone, maybe, I don't know, you might get some, but when they see Bitcoin accepted here and then Kaspa accepted here, there's an association. So that's what Daniel mentioned in his shop in Portugal. He said, I put up these Kaspa stickers and nobody talked about it. And then I threw up the Bitcoin sticker. And now people are like, oh, it's another Bitcoin. They're like, well, sort of, but not really. So anyways, good on you. So what's the future for, I mean, you actually mentioned that, so maybe we don't have to go deep into that. But can you talk a little bit about the 360 economy that you're trying to create around Kaspa? A little bit more about that? What does that mean? Like, just tell the audience, like, how far and broad is this idea?
So, there's a couple of layers to this. The first one is completely CAS oriented in the sense that not only do I accept CAS, but I really want to onboard my suppliers and other customers. And the reason why, and I've spoken to Chris about this a couple of times, when I did the Bitcoin onboarding a while ago, one of the flaws I see in the system is I did the Bitcoin one was 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm on their X account and I see all the other places that gets onboarded, and every month there's more and more places, and there's also good news in the sense that you see the diversity of places that's being onboarded. So it's not only restaurants, you're starting to get plumbers and solicitors and all kinds of things being onboarded now. However, the problem you have is because they're doing these things in isolation, that you literally need to onboard the whole world before you start an economy.
Yeah.
And if you look at any of the very big success stories company-wise, Airbnb, Facebook, all of these things started in very local communities and consumed in that way before they went worldwide. So it's really important that we start implementing it in this way. So the first step, and me and Chris are working on it, is getting suppliers on. So he's working with a beer supplier that's going to provide beer for me, and I'm going to purchase the beer with CAS, and I'm talking to my coffee supplier, etc. So that's the first step in regards to getting a circle economy in regards to that. There's a multitude of advantages on it. One, I mean, in its purest form, the transaction fees is a significant reduction in cost, not only in purchase from clients, but also in regards to exchange with your suppliers. The value of things. So one of the things that I noticed, this is a Bitcoin example, but I had, for instance, a Bitcoin purchase, I can't remember, last year sometime. And the Bitcoin purchase was for coffee. It was like £4 in total. And I don't really exchange the crypto that I do because it's not a majority of my revenue. I keep it. But then I saw a couple of months later, I was on that account again, and Bitcoin has raised, and that £4 became £12 in the process. And it just resonated with me. One of the biggest issues you have in a world where you've got this massive amount of inflation and cost, transactional cost, is that you're never in front of your cost. You're always behind. So every time you sell something in your supply chain, whether it's your labor or your electricity or the thing, something has gone up in price. So you have less margin by the time you sell it than what you originally anticipated. But in this example, it was the other way around. I've actually gained, and there was value in it. So almost like this was like pure gold that I had in exchange. Now that brings the power back to commerce and exchange and the value of money. So it's really important that we focus on that. Then the second part of the circular economics, if you want to call it that, what I'm doing with my NFT is, so with my NFT, you also get revenue share. And the revenue share is from multiple things. It's from the CAS and Bitcoin sales we have in WOLFY'S. It's also from a couple of miners we've got, which we're also expanding. And it's also going to be for the future venues that we're going to open up, the trucks, the London Bridge branch, the South African franchise, all of those things. And the idea is to use cash that we've received from that revenue, or take the revenue we've earned and buy cash with that, and then purchase Wolfie coin, which is KRC20 coin, my coin. And the reason why I'm doing that is because not only am I supporting the ecosystem and pushing it in, but I'm giving my holders extra value in regards to the coin, because the coin's value will always rise, given that we actually have real products and services going back into it, and people down. So they get two-folded increase in regards to their revenue share. So that's my ecosystem. So it's going to be a very interesting future. I think also that if you look at how meme coins have developed, how NFTs have developed, I think the era of these things not being attached to anything of value is starting to end. And I think that if you look at what's going to be the future, which is a good thing, is that crypto is going to become brand extensions rather than a way to make money, quick money, or start something. Okay. It's going to be established brands that's going to use crypto to expand their capabilities and have the connection with the clientele. And I think that's a good thing, because we do need that longevity. We do need real businesses to buy into this. And I have this discussion a lot of times also in context of using CAS as a medium of exchange. Because one thing about crypto, and you have this all the time, when you talk to people, say you need to purchase a coffee with gas. So I'll never sell my gas. But I try to explain to this, like, I get it, but money is more than just a store of value. It needs to be a medium of exchange to actually be functional. Yep. And hence why CAS is better than Bitcoin, because it's a better medium of exchange than Bitcoin, cost-wise and speed. So it's really important, and I think people misinterpret it also. You do not need to take the cash that you're saving up and investing, but you can take the fiat that you usually use, exchange it for cash, and start implementing your purchases with that. Because by doing that, we'll create the volume, we'll create the market, we'll create all of these things that will, in the end, result in us not needing to use fiat, be paid in fiat, and that will balance the world far better.
It's a great advice, and I've said this before, and I'm glad you're echoing this, is that have your investment in the vault and don't touch it, but have daily spending stuff that goes in your wallet, right? So the term wallets and exchanges, whatever, I said have a wallet and call it your vault, and that's your investment pile, and you don't spend it. But every month have enough of Kaspa that's going to be your spending, and you're right. It fuels the economy. It lubricates the system, the ecosystem. You're spending your CAS, somebody's taking it and spending it. So it kind of decouples the idea of like, I'm never going to spend my Kaspa. It's like you should, because it's a great medium of exchange. So good advice to tell people, like, have these 2 or 3 different wallets. Like when I raised my kids, we had, a giving piggy bank and a spending piggy bank and a savings piggy bank. And they put their allowances, they divided it up in between these 3 banks. So they knew that, hey, you're never going to touch your savings bank. But your spending bank, you could spend it all on candy that day if you wanted to. But guess what? Tomorrow, you got nothing until you get your next pay, till you get your next allowance, and then you're back into dividing it up. So I think it's great to help people see that it's real money, but don't just store it and keep it. Like, enjoy it, be flexible with it, and then help to lubricate the economy with it. And that's what we've done, like Rhubarb Media. So we get a stipend from the CMF, the Community Marketing Fund. Every month, my Rhubarb wallet is 0 because I pay bills. I give it to staff. I pay everything I have with it. I mean, we don't make money on top. It's just, but I'm like, I love it. I like the fact that, the CAS that came in is now out there and people can purchase it and use it. And we're using it for what it was for. I have my own personal investments. I don't touch those. But yeah, you're totally right. Dead on. So I'm looking forward to see the future.
It's also wider than that. If you own a business, one of the core things you learn by participating in business very early on is how to manage your cash flow. And people do it in numerous ways. Mm-hmm. How you have to set certain amounts aside for everything to be functional as a business. I mean, if you meet other entrepreneurs, it's the number one thing. Everybody always talks about cash flow. It's the thing that destroys businesses. And there's an added element to it, which is the psychology of money in regards to how you use money. And you can make it wider. It's the psychology of life, right? If you overemphasize one thing, all the other things collapses. And it doesn't help you put everything away, because you'll get to a point where you'll make a decision to use that. But because it's so specific or finite that you've put it all in this pocket, you're going to use all of it, or most of it. In regards to, you're not going to allocate it towards the right things. You need to find that balance. And I had this discussion with one of my holders today, because one of my Wolfie holders, NFT and coin, he was reaching out to me and it's like, I've got this and this and this and this thing I'm doing. But I'm so stressed because I really need this to work so that I can purchase more Wolfie NFTs and purchase more coin. Because I'm going to lose out on all these things. And I explained to him, I said, you need to think about it in this way. You're in it. You've got NFTs. You've got a Wolfie coin. You're growing. You're going to get more value out of it. But you can't put yourself in positions where you can't eat or you're doing stupid things, because you'll get yourself in a position where you need to get rid of the thing that you're exactly the opposite of what you want to do.
Yeah.
And you need to be conscious of that. It's like, and universally, my uncle always had this saying for me, because me and my brother is very big. And he always told us there's always someone bigger than you. And it's the reality of all things in life. There's going to be someone richer, there's going to be someone more of us. There's always going to be something. And you need to distance yourself from that. Build your own special rules that you work with, but make sure it's diversified, that you have that what do you call candy money, effectively, and you purchase it. And it is really important. I try to talk about this in the groups also when people start arguing about the medium of exchange, and I tell them that everybody's talking about mass adoption and growth in the next level. This is it. For us to move to the next level, mass adoption, this needs to become a medium of exchange. You can't have the whole world just having gas in a bag and not doing anything with it.
Exactly.
It's not going to have any value.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, 100%. So that's great. So, what are you most excited about for Kaspa future? I mean, you follow the chats and the socials. What's for you yourself, for you as a business owner, for you as whatever? Like what's got you pumped?
I mean, so if you're in the community, everybody's excited about the 10 BPS, so the 10 blocks per second.
Sure.
Everybody's very excited about it. The reality is, as a merchant or a person that's using it, I'm not really too bothered, because it's already the highest speed one out there. I don't have any issues with transactions. I mean, if someone purchases a coffee, it's going to be immediate. And I've had examples with Bitcoin where that didn't happen. So we do, with Bitcoin, you use the Lightning network, and it's quite instant.
Sure.
But I've had instances, we had instant next door where a person was purchasing a service, and the service is in the Airbnb salon is way more expensive than a coffee. It's a couple of £100. Mm-hmm. When she paid for it, she selected the cheapest fees on her wallet for Bitcoin, pushed it there, and what a mess. So
hours.
It took almost 2 weeks for that money to come in the process.
Yeah.
And luckily we knew her and we've got all the details. But if you were selling coffee, you can't wait 2 weeks for the coffee purchase to come through.
Right. Yeah.
So for the BPS thing, I'm not too bothered about it. I think it's high speed enough, but yes, of course, as we progress, it's going to be more valuable, and as things develop. Smart contracts is going to be really cool. I think not only in context of the type of products that's going to be developed and the expansion, but also a wider adoption and understanding of CAS. And it's one of those things, it's going to happen gradually and then it's going to happen suddenly, where people all of a sudden understand the value of this and where it goes. And then if you have enough top of it is just going to be exceptional. So it's going to be very quick, the growth in context of CAS and the tooling of it and the adaptability and all of that. So I'm excited about that because I've been in crypto for a long time, but I've never been this early in regards to a coin. And some people would argue you're not even early with Kaspa. You're very early. I mean, if I could buy into Bitcoin in 2012, wow.
Exactly.
It's quite a thing. So I'm very excited in that regards to it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're and you could be honored for this. I mean, you guys are the entrepreneurs that are accepting Kaspa. You're the pioneers. Like, you're the ones that they're on the ground testing it and using it. And like 10 years from now, they'll look back and go, hey, remember Wolfie's Bar? They were the first to accept Kaspa in the UK or whatever, right? So we're totally early. And myself included, I think the smart contracts are going to be the game changer for Kaspa. With any technology startup, they need an MVP, and Kaspa doesn't really have it other than the coin, and it works and it's useful. I think having a minimum viable product is going to really launch it, because you can, even if it's in beta or they're testing it out, the tentacles from a smart contract will reach so many different markets, and people are going to be jumping on it locally, but with groups like the KII initiative, the Kaspa Industrial Initiative, they're talking to banks and politicians and regions and countries and energy markets and logistics and insurance and on and on. So you add a smart contract enableability. The programmability of Kaspa is the next rocket that's gonna, once it's lit, and it's great. And I'm excited about the value, but I'm really excited about adoption and seeing it really change the world. I think you're right. Smart contracts are going to be the pivot for Kaspa. So that's great. So how do people find you, Wolf? Like, what's the best commercial you can give me for your business?
It depends on what you want to do, right? So if you want to purchase coffee, you want to come to Wolfie's. We're in Southeast London, SE8 in Deptford, near Canada Water Station, across Canary Wharf. So you can always pop in. If you want to purchase the NFT, we're online, so you can either purchase it from Kaspa.com or KSPR bot. You can go into any of my socials. I've got everything, from TikTok to Telegram. I hate all of them, but I am on all of them.
Yeah, we'll put all those links in the description. So that's
so
cool.
You can go into any of them, and you can get an NFT and be part of that community aspect of it. And then the same with the coin. It's the same thing. My community is very active. I've got a lot of specific things I do, and they're one of the things that I'm very adamant about is health. One of the things that's given me the ability to be the entrepreneur and be able to manage the amount of stress I do is the weightlifting and the diet I've been following for the last 20 years. So I actually have a reward system in my Discord where if you exercise, every time you exercise on a day, you get points, and if you earn enough points, you can get a free Wolfie's Bar NFT. Basically, if you exercise every day or 5 days a week for about 2 or 3 months, you get one. So it's I try to do things like that. It's very important to me. You can jump on any of those things and connect with me. And I'm on Blockchain Banter on Mondays, and I do a couple of things during the week. So all sorts.
Well, that's great. Well, I'm excited to have you on. You're number 2 merchant on the show. So again, a pioneer. And I did want to show you this.
Cool.
So that's a local artist that's all over our space. We have a co-working space, and just wanted to show you the wolf. Yeah, exactly. So and hopefully we'll get over across the pond, and we'll hook up with Chris and Tom and you guys and enjoy some coffee or beer together down the road. So thanks for doing it, and definitely reach out if you guys need anything. You know where I am. Yeah, you can reach me. So thanks again. So cheers.